This is the Arrows RC Trek. It's a 1.2 meter wingspan RC airplane. It's a really simple one, so I would certainly compare this one to the FMS Ranger 1.2 meter wingspan RC airplane because they share so many features kind of in size, and also I think that the power system is really comparable. They are both tricycle gear landing RC airplanes. They're both also really easy to assemble. They're lightweight. And I'm digging this one. I don't think it's too beautiful RC airplane as is, but it's really fun to fly. So let's go outside and get this one flying. So welcome to another great early morning. This time with the Arrows RC Trekker. It's a 1.2 meter wingspan RC airplane, runs on 3S, 3200 milliamp battery. It's a lightweight RC airplane, and I've increased aileron authority on mine just to have this one more maneuverable and more agile. But as you can see, when you just fly slow, you can bank this one quite steep. It won't bite you, and that's a really nice thing then about lightweight RC airplanes, that usually, in my experience, you will have a really worry-free flight with them. They really won't bite you. And I think the closest comparison and competitor to this RC airplane is the FMS Ranger 1.2 meter. So they are the same in size, more or less. They have about the same features, but on the Ranger then you do get floats and you have a reflex gyro. On this Arrows RC you don't have any gyro, so it's a plug and play configuration. You have to put in your own receiver. I have a Spektrum receiver in mine, and I also replaced the speed controller with a 30 amp AVN, so I have full telemetry. So let's get this one down then on the gears. And what I've discovered when about to land this RC airplane, you can more or less just kill the throttle and pull full elevator, up elevator, and then it will just flare in a nice way and land on the mains. So in some aspects I would say that this plane is easier to land than the FMS Ranger. When it comes to agility, I think they are really comparable. You can see you can just do really tight flying with this RC airplane. And although, just as the Ranger then, it's not a super fast rolling RC airplane, when you increase throw on the aileron, you have a good level. I mean, I always want more. So in comparison to something like the Arrows RC Bigfoot, which is a slightly larger RC airplane at 1.3, also a little bit heavier. The Arrows Bigfoot is super agile, so that's the difference. Let's get this one down then once more. So I'm using no throttle and just letting this one drop with the pull full elevator. So, whoops, okay. No comment. I just screwed up that takeoff. I just pulled too much elevator. But no damage, it appears to be flying fine again. So usually I'm not too worried about these lightweight, simple RC airplanes, because there are not many parts that can break. There are no scale details. The fun thing about this RC airplane, the Trekker, is just to do this kind of tight maneuvers. It's really great flying RC airplane. I could also compare this one to the Hobbyzone Apprentice S2, which is a similar sized RC airplane, also tricycle gear. Now the Hobbyzone Apprentice S2 is a great beginner RC airplane because it flies so really slow. It's a really solid construction, really simple one, and you have a good package also with everything included in a ready to fly package with a good transmitter also. But this one, on the other hand, I think you can just keep for a much longer time if you would purchase this as a beginner, because it's, I mean, even for me, I've flown close to 100 different RC airplanes. I think this is a really fun one to fly. So, I mean, any plane that can move around in the sky like this without worries. I'm really pleased with.
Time remaining 1 minute.
And I wouldn't consider this RC plane to be a beautiful RC plane. It probably is one of the worst looking RC planes I have. So I would certainly just want to do some sort of LED light and sticker or paint this RC plane in a different color, because right now it is kind of bland. It's not really too exciting to look at. But as it flies so good, so it might be worth it. I don't think flaps is needed, as you just kill the throttle and pull full elevator. So flaps is a thing I can just skip on this RC plane. But I would really like to have a different color or some stripes on the wing. Let's get this one down then. No throttle, full elevator, and just gentle touchdown on the mains. The closest competition to this RC plane, as I mentioned before, is the FMS Ranger 1.2 meter. Now, I think that the FMS Ranger is a more beautiful looking RC plane, but I honestly cannot say that that this one or the FMS Ranger fly better or worse. I think they're just two fantastic flying RC planes if you just consider what they are. They're not super agile, you do not have flaps, but to land this one is so easy. You more or less just kill the throttle and you glide down, you pull back pressure on the elevator and you land on the main in a really good way. I don't think that the clearance to the nose wheel then is really too great. If you just look at it, it's not really too many centimeters of clearance, so if you have grass you surely will have some grass cutting from the prop then. But it's also really efficient power system and prop on this RC plane. So I think I have a 30 amp AVN speed controller inside, and it just I think it draws like maybe 23 amp. So you can continue to run this for a really long time. It's also really easy to assemble, just these kind of 2mm hex screws. And overall, maybe the greatest thing then might also be that this one comes in a really tiny box, because you have this split tail construction on this RC plane, which I believe will be something that we will see more. So this is from Arrows. I also have the Super Cub then from FMS, which is like the same size, and it also have this split tail. So I would certainly just imagine that more manufacturers will adopt this thing, because it will surely just save a lot of shipping costs. But I'm digging this one, but I surely would like to maybe repaint or remodel this one with different colors. Then it would be a really fantastic looking RC plane also.